If you're like me, whenever you listen to the news, you feel forced to choose between two toxic sides. But people are more complicated. They don't fit neatly into just two groups, and media should reflect that.
That's where the Lost Debate steps in.
What's up, guys? I'm Corey Bradford.
And I'm Ravi Gupta, and we're the hosts of the Lost Debate.
This country is more politically divided now than ever before, but we're not as different as the mainstream media makes us out to be.
That's why we launched the Lost Debate. It's a podcast and YouTube show for the politically eclectic who've lost trust in our polarizing, partisan world. And we'll bring you news, ideas, and trends that are overlooked. We'll also bring people together at the conversations the media isn't having to empathize with each other and challenge each other in good faith.
And some political satire and skits, because why the hell not?
New episodes drop Tuesdays and Thursdays. Lost Debate on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts.
Governor-elect gets a tour of the place he'll call home for the next 4 years.
D.C.'s mayor wants to do what no other district mayor has done since Marion Barry in 1986.
What we know about what happened inside an area high school locker room. I'm Matt Small.
7 o'clock.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by the Exogen Temporal Scanner.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. The Election Day suspense is finally over for a Democratic incumbent on the East Coast. CBS's Laura Podesta.
CBS News projects New Jersey Democrat Phil Murphy has won re-election as governor, narrowly edging out his opponent, Republican Jack Ciattarelli.
If you want to know what the future looks like, folks, come to New Jersey. If you want to understand where America is heading, look to New Jersey.
Ciattarelli's communications director, though, tweeted last night that it's irresponsible of the media to make this call when the New Jersey Secretary of State doesn't even know how many ballots are left to be counted. Even with a loss, the race was much closer than many thought it would be.
Murphy got the news he'd been hoping for a day after Republican Glenn Youngkin beat Democrat Terry McAuliffe in Virginia's race for governor. The House could vote on President Biden's $1.85 trillion domestic policy package and a companion infrastructure bill as early as today. Democrats have fortified that package with a new family leave program, which could alienate holdout Senator Joe Manchin. The president says separated migrants will not be getting large lump sums from the government.
Lawyers representing the families have been floating the idea of $450,000 for each member affected by former President Trump's zero-tolerance policy, a policy which led to separation of more than 5,000 children from their parents. But when asked about the compensation, President Biden said,
"That's not going to happen."
The American Civil Liberties Union, which is negotiating on behalf of the separated families, quickly condemned the remark, while the Justice Department said it would not comment on ongoing litigation. Linda Kenyon, CBS News, Washington.
Ahmaud Arbery's family is hopeful despite the makeup of the jury that's been chosen in Georgia to hear the case of 3 black men accused in his murder. The panel includes just one black member, Arbery's mother, Wanda Cooper Jones.
I'm very confident that they'll make the right decision after seeing all of the evidence. I'm sure that we will get justice for Ahmaud.
L.A. joined cities like New York and New Orleans today, requiring proof of vaccination to get into restaurants, gyms, and sports arenas. Danny Viveros Duarte is a host at the Guest House.
When I go out to the bars, I do have to show my vaccination card at other places. So, I'm aware, I'm sure if I'm aware, other people are as well.
The UK has just become the first country to approve a pill to treat COVID. Closure for Sopranos fans more than a decade after the show faded to black. CBS's Monica Rick on creator David Chase's latest interview.
Turns out Chase says Tony did die in that diner. He tells The Hollywood Reporter he always envisioned having Tony whacked, but it didn't go as planned.
This is CBS News.
If you're checking for fever, the leading sign of COVID-19, beware of dangerously inaccurate non-contact thermometers. Instead, learn about Exogen at exogen.com.
7:03 Thursday morning, November 4th. It'll be mixed sun and clouds for us today. Highs in the low to mid 50s. Good morning, I'm Bruce Allen.
And I'm Joan Jones. And Republicans in Virginia have won the races for governor, lieutenant governor, and attorney general. And Democrats no longer have a majority in the House of Delegates.
Republicans have now picked up 5 seats in the General Assembly, enough to tie Democrats for control. And there are several races pending which could give the GOP full control. Rich Anderson, chair of the Virginia Republican Party, on why the GOP did so well this time around.
What we have seen in the last year come out of Washington, D.C. and out of Richmond over the last 4 years, that was an inducement for Virginia citizens to step forth.
The only Democratic seat to flip in Northern Virginia was in the Stafford-Fredericksburg area. Kyle Cooper, WTOP News.
Virginia's next governor today will inspect the place he'll live and work in for the next 4 years. Governor Ralph Northam will give Governor-elect Glenn Youngkin a tour of the executive mansion in Richmond at 11 o'clock this morning. Youngkin will be sworn in as the 74th governor of the Commonwealth on January 15th.
Well, new this morning, as expected, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser will seek another 4-year term as mayor. But unlike in 2018, when she had no serious challengers, this time she will be challenged by council members Robert White and Trayon White, as well as ANC Commissioner James Butler and Pastor Michael Campbell. If Bowser wins a 3rd term, it would be the first time a D.C. mayor has done so since Marion Barry did in 1986. Bowser is 49 and a native of Washington.
There was an assault inside a locker room at a Montgomery County high school in Rockville involving students this week. Here's what we know so far.
Wooten High School principal Kimberly Bolden calls Tuesday afternoon's assault involving members of the varsity football team a serious incident. In a letter to the school community obtained by WTOP, she says county police were called after a staffer reported it. Police say no charges are forthcoming at this time, and because juveniles were involved, no specifics can be shared. Our news partners at NBC4 say sources tell them the incident involved an attempted assault with a broomstick. The principal says police found no evidence of a sexual assault. The school is investigating the matter as a disciplinary issue, promising a follow-up meeting with members of the team and their families. Matt Small, WTOP News.
It's coming up on a year and a half since 16-year-old Fritz Thomas drowned in a Loudoun County creek that feeds the Potomac River. And now the Board of Supervisors has been updated on what's been done to improve its emergency response.
A review of Loudoun and Montgomery County's emergency response made 42 recommendations. Loudoun Fire and Rescue Chief Keith Johnson says 37 of those are 90 or 100% complete.
Dispatching crews to both sides of the river until the exact nature of an emergency incident is ascertained by first responders on the scene just makes sense.
But Pastor Michelle Thomas asked the board to appoint an external investigation. She asked the fire chief to stop saying her son was dead when he was pulled from the water.
It does not share that on the 911 reports, the calls, nor does it share that in the medical records.
In Loudoun County, Neil Augenstein, WTOP News.
Coming up, pressure on officials in charge of the D.C. jail to improve what are being called deplorable conditions there. It's 7:07.
Now through November 25th at Safeway, get a free Signature Farms frozen turkey or frozen turkey breast when you spend $300 or more with Safeway For You digital coupon. Enter registered phone number at checkout. Must clip digital coupon prior to shopping. Member price.
For our clean energy infrastructure to be made in America, American copper is essential. Increasing our domestic supply supports good-paying union jobs and investments in local Arizona communities. Learn more at resolutioncopper.com.
Paid for by Resolution Copper.
Today's Innovation in Government report highlights the government's IT modernization opportunities. Kevin Brooks, the principal digital strategist for DoD and U.S. intelligence community at ServiceNow, says agencies should push harder to accelerate their digital transformation efforts.
We're at an inflection point. COVID kind of drove the federal government to make some decisions faster, things that are probably coming, but they had to get there sooner. Don't go back. This is an inflection point. We have an opportunity to actually keep the pedal down and go. You have two restive generations coming into the workforce. They're going to have different expectations.